Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be checking out these new JBL 770 NC headphones. We're going to be seeing how they sound, how they are to use, and if I think you should pick some up. All that soon to come, but if you guys could please hit those like and subscribe buttons below, it would really help me out as a small channel. And I want to shout out our sponsor today who provided me these headphones to review, Shop All Hub. You'll be hearing more about them later today, but just want to say thank you so much for providing the headphones. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into this. So, starting out, how do they actually sound? And I gotta say, pretty solid. They've got solid bass and clear mids and highs, and you can also adjust this sound signature with the built-in app. I listened to a variety of music for this, some house, some classical, some R&B, like a variety I tried to get in there, like pop. I tried to give them a good run through across the board. And I think they do a pretty solid job. They sound clear at almost all times, and I will actually say this is kind of something cool. So I have reviewed the previous version of these a while back on the channel, and I will say that the noise canceling, I'd say, is slightly better, but that was never really that bad. But the ambient aware functionality that they provide, so like kind of letting you hear, like if you're walking through a city, like buses or other things, just keep situational awareness, that's improved a lot. As for the talk through functionality, which is basically their completely pass through, that pauses the music and just tries to pump all the sound from the microphones through to the headphones, that works really well as well. But I will say, I don't know who's going to actually use it because I feel like a lot of the time, like if you're going to have a conversation with someone and you've already paused your music, you may as well just like lift the ear away. You don't really need to use some mode of the headphones. You just do this. And then also socially, people just kind of prefer that, I think. So it's obvious that you're listening to them. But the functionality itself does work really well. As for the built-in microphones, I think they also do a pretty solid job. I'm actually going to do a recording here so you guys get a better idea of how it would be to use. Because keep in mind, also, if you were going to try to use this as like a headset to like have voice calls and stuff, that'd be an important factor too. Okay, now I'm just going to talk a little bit here so you guys can better understand how the mics work. I think overall they're pretty passable. They're definitely not amazing or anything like that. But for a pair of wireless headphones, I think that they do more than enough to make it obvious that you can hear the other people and then the conversation that they can hear you. So it's pretty much all I got for this test, but I always like to throw this in there. Helps you guys understand how usable the mics are. Now that we covered kind of how they sound, let's get into the other important part. How easy are they to use and how durable are they? And to be honest, I think that they're surprisingly durable. All the materials feel pretty solid. Like you get like nice ratcheting clicks for the headband adjustment. The buttons all feel fairly tactile and like pretty solid. And I can't speak for how long these last, obviously, because I've only been reviewing these for a couple of weeks. But I will say that I have the older version of these headphones. Or actually, one of my friends does, and he's been using them as gym headphones for years. And they still survived. They've survived the gym. They survived the sauna. So if that's anything to go by, I think that they will do a pretty solid job long term. As for ease of use, I think that it's actually pretty solid. Setup is pretty easy to do. It's actually really cool now on Windows. There's like a little pop-up message when you turn these on, and it'll be like, do you want to connect to the new device? And that makes it super easy. And then on iPhones and everything else like Mac OS, it's also pretty easy. You go into the Bluetooth pairing settings, and it's just pretty easy. Like it's set up in like 5 seconds. As for the EQ, there's actually a JBL app, and there's a couple things you can modify in there, like which assistant you want to use, and more importantly, the EQ. So you can set different profiles. It does make a noticeable difference, but I don't really like messing with software EQ that much. Normally, if you just leave it pretty normal, you'll have a good time. And that's what I did most of my testing on. Another cool thing in the app you can modify is the amount of your voice it passes through on phone calls. So I don't know about everyone, but for me, I really don't like the idea of like having muffled sounds of my own voice when I'm on a phone call. It makes it like, I don't know, it just kind of feels weird. So this actually uses the microphones to pass some of your own voice in as well while you're on a phone call. And I think that's a super convenient feature, and you can modify that within the app as well. As for other things to do with usability, you can actually power these things over a 3.5mm jack. So if the batteries die and you have something with an audio port still, you can plug that in and the cable comes included, which is super, super nice. As for the actual charging itself, it does charge relatively fast, so I think that that's a really nice feature. But one thing I really wish they had done was, I'm sure this is so that you can't listen and charge at the same time, but they put the charging port on the top of the headphone so you can't listen and charge, which I think would have been a nice feature to have. As well, it also means that you can't just listen to them over USB-C, because I know some headphones you can plug in over USB and they just work. These ones you cannot listen to over USB. Another convenience factor when it comes to charging is that they actually display the battery life on both Mac and Windows devices. So if you like cover the headphones, it like outputs the battery life over the Bluetooth, which is super convenient, especially like because normally that's like kind of restricted to iOS devices, but it's becoming more ubiquitous, which is good to see. As well, when you turn them on, it tells you what the battery life is. and if you need to charge. So that's also a really nice feature. That's pretty much all the facts I have about these headphones. As for my conclusion, I think that they're actually a pretty solid buy. It depends on, of course, what price you get them at. But I think that for usability, I think they do a great job, and they're a solid mid-tier pair of headphones. They're not amazing. They're not going to be rivaling your Bose or your Sonys. But I think that they're a lot better than some of the less quality Chinese things you can get on Amazon for like 20 or 30 bucks. Like if you want a solid mid-tier pair of headphones that will last you a couple of years, I think these will do a great job of that. But that's pretty much all I have for these. I do want to say thank you again to Shop All Hub for providing them to me for review. They're kind of a cool company. They have an online web store, and they also have some booths in like airports and stuff that have like an automated vending machine for headphones, which is nice. I don't know, it's kind of fun. And if you see them, I guess you could pick some up. They have also provided me a discount code for you guys. So if you use the discount code on screen or follow the link in the description, you will get a 20% discount. They do a good job, and they shipped them here fairly well, and they've been good to work with so far. So I wanted to say thank you again to them. But that's pretty much all I have for today. If you guys could please hit those like and subscribe buttons, it would really help me out as a small channel. And thank you again for watching. See you next time.